Oh, no, 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 no. Is Mike Matei seething? Is he upset that Ninja is more recognizable than he is? Not that we need your validation, but AVGN has been on YouTube for 20 years and so far zero recognition. Maybe get someone that isn't a Zoomer on your marketing team. What? Is he mad that these people probably play Super Mario Bros. Wonder instead of Super Mario Bros. 3? Is he upset that people like Nintendo consoles after the NES? Like that, it is just so boomerish. Like, I've been on YouTube for 20 years. I was producing YouTube content before YouTube was even a thing. Like, shut up. Nobody cares. AVGN is done. It's finished. You're not even part of the company anymore. Okay? Justin Silverman and Screenwave have ran AVGN into the ground, and you were directly culpable. You did not evolve, you did not grow, and you have lost your market share to industry plants that have accomplished absolutely nothing. Now, I don't disagree with Matei when it comes to like the idea that like AVGN is an actual innovator and actually deserves a lot more recognition. That is true. Like he has a lot more credibility than Ninja, who to this day I still have no idea who this guy is. But it can't be understated that AVGN completely dropped the ball when it came to growing the brand. Cinemassacre really should have acquired more personalities. They should have expanded their content. They should have been producing original films. Like in theory, Cinemassacre should have been the launching off point for James Rolfe to launch a legitimate film career, but it didn't because James is a lazy fuck who can't do anything outside of his like narrow scope of experience, which basically just amounts to making films in his garage with people who that are just around. Basically, that's kind of all James has ever done. He's never developed as a creator. He's never evolved. He's like very much stuck in the past in that regard. And Mike, I think too, is in the same boat where he can't let go of the fact that other YouTube personalities have outpaced him in relevancy. Like, and that's been true for a long, 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 long time. Like, AVGN is very much an NES boomer brand in that sense, because like after a certain point, people were more nostalgic for GameCube, N64, like Game Boy Advance. Like has AVGN ever covered a Game Boy Advance game in his entire career? Like, again, there's so many other things he should have been talking about, but no, like, he's been running the show for like 20 years and yet only has about like 200 episodes of AVGN, a lot of which has been like gradually lowering in quality. Like, it's like, why exactly should I care about 20 years of AVGN when James doesn't produce anything? Like Doug Walker in comparison, like Nostalgia Critic has consistently been putting out like a new Nostalgia Critic every week. And yeah, there was that weird break when he like canceled it the first time, and I'm sure there's been like delays and such then, but like Doug Walker did a way better job like implementing himself as like a YouTube cultural figure more than James had, because he actually did like try and branch out. He tried to get more creators on board. He tried to create more different shows. He tried to innovate, like, and now he's now that he's older, he's like doing crossovers with other YouTubers, and like I think he's like been on um you know cartoons and stuff like that. Like there's Doug actually evolved as a creator. Now, you can argue Doug isn't a good creator, but he put in the effort to kind of grow and evolve his brand. And that's something you just have never seen with James. Like, it's like everything he does is based on this idea that he had as a kid as to what he wanted to do, right? He wants to be a film creator, not because he wants to make films, but because he just finds it easy to just set up a camera and just do goofy stuff. Like, he doesn't want to be a rock star. Like, it's just some thing that he thinks will make him look cool, right? Like he doesn't actually take the effort to like learn the craft or evolve or like network or like find people. Like he just constantly just takes the easy way out, like every single time. And now we're at this point where people like Mike are bitching about getting overshadowed by other YouTubers, right? It's disgusting. It really is that we're starting to see this that um like AVGN's attitude, James's inability to grow and evolve, Mike's immaturity, the screen wave thing, like all of it has just erupted into this like cataclysm of bullshit where everybody involved is just coping and seething that AVGN isn't as big as it should be. James isn't wealthy. Okay. James did not become a millionaire off of AVGN. He's still actively working in his 40s. Screenwave is going to milk that cow dry. I would argue already has. And Mike is just going to sit there and seethe because he's not getting the recognition and uh and credibility that he thinks he deserves. And I've kind of maintained this. Like it's remarkable watching this guy stream and seeing just how much he hates video games, especially modern video games. The last time I saw him when he reacted to that Nintendo Direct where they showcased the Echoes of Wisdom trailer for the first time, and like he started like screaming about how childish and immature it was. Like, oh, Zelda used to be cool and badass. Like, no, it's always been intended for kids. Like he just has no ability to process that things made after he was a kid are like good. It's just remarkable. It's simplistic. It's so stupid. And I'm very glad to see that more and more people are starting to notice just how nonsensical Mike's rants actually are. What a disgusting human being he is. Like how he has no credibility when it comes to video games. That AVGN is not some like major gaming culture thing. It was just a trend on YouTube that Rolf started and has now naturally run its course. Like nobody watches AVGN anymore. Nobody remembers it. Nobody cares. It's cringy in 2025. And what's especially cringy is how these people still latch onto it as their only real success story in their entire lives. Like Board James essentially is just a knockoff of AGN. AVGN. The movie was a knockoff of AVGN. Everything else they've tried to do has been like funded by and enabled by this YouTube fad from the 2000s. Like, it needs to stop. Okay, you need to move on. You need to get a life. You need to stop like seething about other people being more successful than you. Okay, AVGN is over, and at the end of the day, no one even knows who you are.